Okay, so here we go again. So as I've been traveling, I've been getting a lot of the same comments. A lot of, people that I've met recently, especially while in Bali, they've all said the same thing. Well, I can't say all of them, but most of them have said the same thing, which is, wow, you feel so grounded, you feel so calm. And yes, I am very grounded and I'm very calm that's kind of my nature, but it wasn't always like that for me. And some people ask me how I become so calm or how, I'm so grounded. And that's what this video is about. So speaking of being calm and grounded, there's a wasp that's trying to get into my room right now. So I see stuff like that and I'm just like observing, seeing what's going on without reacting. And that's part of what we're going to get into. So how I've become so calm and grounded and how you can do the same thing for yourself. I'm going to share what has worked for me. Three exercises that I practice and that I truly embody every single day. This is I see these things as just a part of myself. So let's get into the first one, which is just simply meditation. Now, meditation is my daily number one practice. So I embrace being an embodiment of meditation. This is my philosophy when it comes to it. When it comes to things that I do, that I practice, I don't see them as something separate that I'm just doing. I see me becoming that. I see that becoming a natural part of me. So this is why I practice good habits, good practices, so that I can become the best version of myself, not by trying, not by having a strict discipline regimen, no, by simply just embodying the truth of who I am. So this is what meditation is for me. I've been meditating almost all my life, but consciously I've been meditating for the past 15 to 16 years, something like that. I think I started when I was about 15 years old and I'm 31 years old right now. So yeah, it's been roughly 15, 16 years, somewhere in there that I've been practicing meditation consciously. Now, the reason why I said I've technically been doing it most of my life is because I have very early memories of, being a toddler. So being a really young child, and I'd have these experiences where I'm just observing, just calmly looking around, observing, and just trying to understand what it is that this reality is. I was trying to understand that almost as soon as I came out the womb. Because I remember specifically I had this experience multiple times. It was it kind of became a meditative exercise for me where I would sit in the living room and there'd be sun shining and kind of like how it's coming in right now. And I'd be sitting here and I just try to look and see if I can actually see the sunlight itself, not the light that's reflecting off the surface, but the actual sunlight, the actual, what this air is in front of us. I was trying to see what that is. And the more I'd sit there and just stare, I didn't realize it, but I was meditating. I was doing an active meditation where I'm simply observing what is in front of me and I'm looking at it and I'm allowing myself to really tap into what is here. And I start to see literally what I call now just energy or light particles flowing, just moving so fast. And then when I kind of snap myself out of that, it go back to normal, how it normally looks. And now if I look at, just this wall in front of me, I see almost kind of how if you're familiar with psychedelics, specifically mushrooms, how things look kind of a little bit funny, or not funny, but fuzzy, a little bit animated, so to speak. If I look and I really lock in and tap in to a solid surface or just anything that I can, that's stable, I can see that fuzziness, that animation that's going on all the time that we just don't really usually perceive. So that was my first instance of an actual meditative practice. It was just me being curious about reality. So meditation, actually, let me continue on with that thought. So as I got a little bit older, I developed anger issues. And so anything that I felt was disrespectful to me or anything that just, pissed me off, that triggered me, I don't want to hurt the other person. Like, I don't want to like hit them, kick them, whatever it was, but I don't want to get back at them for hurting me. So that's how it was. That fire was within me. And I learned how to manage that and come out of that state of rage and anger by observing my father. My father was a great role model for me. He was very calm, very level-headed almost all the time. Like to get him and to see him in a state of like heightened emotions is extremely rare. He's very calm, very reserved, very, calculated, but in like a stoic way, in a very healthy way. And so I learned how to be calm under pressure from him. And that was through me just observing him. So that speaks to our environments growing up as well. I didn't grow up in a calm and peaceful environment. It was, a lot of stuff going on. But by seeing how my father handled it, by observing him and his actions and how he reacted or responded to certain things, or really to everything, I took that upon myself, and I learned that from within myself as well, using him as an inspiration. So that's another thing that I'll get into. But for right now, sticking on the actual practice of meditation, when I started practicing meditation consciously, like when I actually knew what it was and understood what it was that I was doing, I was about 15, 16 years old, somewhere around there. And I would utilize it as a form of escape from the reality, from the environment that I was living in. Like I said, it wasn't, the best environment. Still good, still love in the home and everything. Love my family, my parents and everything. But, just the house itself, there's a lot going on with it that was very harmful and traumatic for me. So in order to escape that, I said, I don't have anywhere to go. I obviously didn't have a car at that point or anything. I couldn't just up and walk somewhere, because if you're from Southern California, especially from where I'm from, that you have to walk for miles in order to really get anywhere. So none of that was really an option for me. So I chose to go within myself and just meditate and see what I can explore within myself. And so that was a practice, again, just out of curiosity, out of self-exploration. So I was meditating, I'd lay down. And then when I started getting into astral projection or out-of-body experiences, meditation was the key practice in that. And so I got really, really good at meditation because I wanted to actually leave my body, not like die or anything, but I wanted to actually, explore beyond this 3D realm. That was like the real draw for me. So I started practicing meditation literally every single day. I was already doing it daily, but now at this point that I'm talking about, I was practicing it daily for at least an hour, or sometimes 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. And so I got really good at calming myself, utilizing my breath to maintain a lower heartbeat, a slower heartbeat, using my breath to maintain a calm state of mind, a calm state of being. And this got me also really good at lucid dreaming, which is another thing I'll talk about, but not in this video, but I have another video on lucid dreaming itself. But meditation, the practice of meditation has unlocked so much within me. But one of the main things was being able to stay calm in almost any situation, no matter what's going on. Because meditation allowed me to realize that life happens as a result of our decisions. Of course, there's many things that happen around us, but we don't have to react to everything. We can actually just respond to everything, as in take time to see and process what's happening both within us and externally outside of us, and then formulate our response, formulate a way or a path of action. So that's what I started uncovering, and to go even deeper to explore more in the topic of meditation before I move on to the next one, not managing, but being in control of my thoughts. Not as in I'm in complete control of what comes in and what goes out. Like being in control as in I learned how to let my thoughts just be, understanding that I am not my thoughts. Same thing as you. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are something. It's like we're a radio antenna, right? We can both receive and we can send out. Now, the frequency that we're on, aka the state of being that we're embodying, our state of mind that we're embodying, that's what allows certain thoughts to come in and certain thoughts to flow out. So when we're meditating and we're in that state of just stillness, all kinds of thoughts are opening up or coming in because we are opening ourselves up. We are calming ourselves down in the mind. We're becoming even more aware of what's actually going on in the mind. And there's so much going on in the mind almost all the time, so that when we're in the state of meditation and we become detached from our thoughts, we don't associate with our thoughts. This is a practice within meditation that allows you to go even deeper within yourself, because you are not your thoughts. Like I said, you are the being, you're not even the vessel. You are the being within the vessel that allows and chooses what thoughts come in based on the state of being that we're embodying. So that's essentially what I was practicing every single day and learning for myself. Now you have like Buddhist monks and different spiritual teachers talking about the same thing. And yes, I did learn some from them through, just like doing research and studying and everything. But I knew I wasn't going to actually learn if I didn't practice it for myself. So a lot of really everything that I'm sharing with you is from experience. So moving on to the next point, I mentioned a little bit earlier, I've become the observer. And I'm reading off my laptop right now because I typed a lot of this stuff out, just the main points. But I have become the observer. I respond instead of react. Exactly like what I just said. So through becoming the observer, by detaching myself from my thoughts, and it's always been kind of natural for me to be the observer, but I really honed in on it. I really locked in with it when I started practicing meditation consciously. So being the observer allows us to see and process things that are happening both within us and around us very, very quickly and in healthy ways. Because when we're in a state of just reaction, more like a fight or flight kind of state, which is the norm, because most people don't take the time to actually observe and analyze their own thoughts and their own state of being and their own ways of action. Most people don't observe themselves. But practicing observing yourself unlocks so much within this reality, because now you're not just you're not reacting, you're responding. When you're reacting, you're a slave to whatever the stimulus is. You're being, you're, what's the other word I was going to look, not slave, but you're being controlled by your external stimuli. Because, say like you're walking down the street, somebody calls you like a racial slur or a curse word or something like that. If your immediate reaction is to, if your immediate instinct is to react to that person and handle them, so to speak, or, respond to them in a way that you think is right, then you're not really in control of yourself. You're letting that person control you, control your actions. So in opposition to that, let's say that same scenario, but now you're the observer. Now you're more the awakened and conscious individual that you can be, or that you are, so that when that person calls you that slur or whatever they say to you, you don't even recognize it as a threat, because you see that it's just a person walking by. They're saying something based on what is going on within themselves, and that really just represents the state of being that they're embodying, rather than what's actually true about me. Because what they say means nothing to me. They don't even know me. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I do. They don't know my background. They don't know anything about me. They're just seeing it. They're just seeing me and saying something based on their projection based on their perception of me, which is just a projection that's coming from them. That represents their inner state, their internal state. So that's what's really going on. And when you're the observer, you're able to see and process these things in real time. Now, it takes practice for sure. This is actually a practice. Through meditation and becoming the observer, you practice literally in every moment, because even as I'm speaking right now, yes, I'm embodying this version of myself that is able to teach and express and share everything that helps millions of people. But I'm also observing myself. I'm aware of what I'm doing in this moment, because I'm also studying and observing ways that I can improve myself in this, in this form, in this capacity. So it's something that, being the observer is something that you practice and become good at it and better at it the more that you practice it. Similar to a sport, similar to anything that you do in life, any skill, because that's exactly what this is. It's a skill. And when you become so good at that skill, then it becomes more like a natural way of being. And this is where I want you guys to get. So practice being the observer through meditating and observing yourself. And then the third point. Okay, so if you watched my last video, yeah, you can hear it right now. So there's a street vendor outside. And there's so many in Vietnam, but there's a street vendor outside. They just play on this loudspeaker, this not automated, but this pre-recorded message, and it's just so loud and blaring, repeating the same thing over and over. It's just really funny to hear it out the blue. And that's also another example of how I have trained myself to be the observer and to be non-reactive but responsive, because I could have easily reacted in a way that, I could have got pissed off. I could have got angry because, dang, that audio is coming through in my video. It's messing things up, like that whole thing. But I simply see it as that's just a funny thing that happens. So let's keep it going. So the third thing is, I know myself and I choose to ground in my own truth. This is what it truly means to be grounded. So to be grounded ultimately just means to be grounded and rooted in your own truth. So you may ask, what is your own truth? This is not a tricky topic, but everyone has their own version of what the truth is, and there is no objective truth, which is ironically the only objective truth, because we all have our own individual realities that we're living in, that we're experiencing. Everything that we perceive is very subjective. So when it comes to our truth, what I say is the truth is found in the heart. The truth is found in the heart because the heart represents oneness. The mind represents duality because, there's two hemispheres. You may say, technically there's 4 chambers in the heart, but really what I'm talking about is the sacred heart space. That part of your heart that it literally causes the heart to beat. And, going without going too deep into it, if you want to know more, you can study somebody named John Melchizedek and the Heart Science Institute, I believe is what it's called. But that's who originally put me on to the real science of the heart. Before that, it was Capital Steez, because he talked about 47. The late great rapper Capital Steez, 47, balance between the heart and the mind, the heart chakra and the crown chakra, balancing between the two so you can operate in harmony, having an open heart, having a healthy heart, having a balanced mind, having a healthy mind, so that we can let our hearts lead us while letting our minds be the discerning factor. So that's a different topic, different video, but that's something that really played into helping me become the grounded individual that I am. Because if you're grounded in your truth, it doesn't come from the mind. It's not, because when you're in the mind, you have to consciously and constantly think about it all the time. You have to remind yourself all the time. So eventually it becomes subconscious programming, but really where it comes from is the heart. The heart is the key to all truth, because the heart, like I said, represents oneness. And oneness is what we all are, because we are one in love. We're a whole in love. We're created in the image of the Creator, or AKA God. And if we're created in His image, then would we not be the same? If we're created from the same essence as God, would we not be the same? And so that essence is in the heart. That essence is embodied through the heart. So the essence of love is truth, and the truth in love, or the essence of truth, is love. I almost messed that up, but yeah. So this is how I've become so grounded within myself. Started with meditation, really learning myself and observing myself and detaching myself from my thoughts, and understanding that I am, like Jesus said, I am that I am, meaning I am, and that's it. I am whatever I choose to be. I am whatever follows the I am. That is what I am. And that's what this reality is. Because we're not these bodies. We're not even the soul or the spirit. Because when we say my body, my soul, and my spirit, that implies that we are in possession of it. But then what are we actually? So that is what the I am is. We are the I am. The real essence of who we are is the I am. So that's like the closest I can say is objective truth. Because even then, there's infinite ways of truth, divine truth, to be, let me say that again. There's an infinite amount of ways for divine truth to be expressed. So this is just my perspective. This is what I came to find as true within me. And this is what also I notice and observe that is true for many other people around the world as well. People that I know, people that I don't know. It's just one of those things that, oh, you found this too? Oh, I found it like 5 years ago. You found it 10 years ago. Oh, that's amazing. And then, just goes from there. So it's not a matter of, a social movement or anything like that, or ideology. It's just what is true in your heart, being grounded and connected, truly connected with your heart, so you can live from the truth in your heart. So I'll finish off by reading this last statement that I prepared. So it goes. To be grounded simply means to be connected to your own truth, not in your mind, but in your heart. Divine truth, aka love, is embodied through the heart. When we tap in with our heart, we are tapping into our own truth. And this truth is not rooted in duality consciousness. No, this truth is rooted in oneness. It is rooted in wholeness. Therefore, it becomes easy to embody your truth when you're grounded in the essence of who you are and what you are. To be grounded means to be, let me read that again. To be grounded means to accept that your truth is not any higher or any lower than that of another. Your truth can stand on its own, knowing that your truth is that of the Creator or God, not in any religious way, but with the inner knowing that comes from your heart. To sum this all up, and to be truly grounded is to be like that of a tree. The deeper the roots, the more the tree can grow. Many people are ungrounded because they are only focused on ascending, and this is when it becomes very easy to live in illusions. But when you focus on transcendence rather than ascension, you grow more while being more stable within yourself as a result of being grounded. So yes, it is always that deep, because the truth. So let me read that again. I'm getting ahead of myself. So yes, it is always that deep, because that depth is what allows us to steadily grow in love, wholeness, and truth. So to quickly hit on the topic of being ungrounded, to kind of juxtapose this entire video, to just frame it in another way, to frame it in a more complete way. To be ungrounded is to really be in the mind rather than the heart and the root chakras, because also we're talking about the chakras here, right? So this is the other aspects of truth that I'm talking about. I didn't even really talk about the topic of chakras that much, because I only focus on the heart and the mind. But we're also talking about every single chakra: the root, the sacral, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat chakra, third eye, and the crown. And there's more, but those are the 7 main chakras. So if you focus on working with the chakras, that is also another way to become very grounded as well, because you're just working with the natural energy pathways in your body, the natural energy centers in your body. So that's another way to become grounded, another perspective to focus on when focusing on grounding. So a lot of people who are ungrounded are very high in the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, maybe even the throat chakra, maybe even the heart chakra, but it's all up here rather than the full spectrum of being, all chakras, all 7 chakras. So when you're disconnected from your root, that's like the telltale sign. That's the classic example of being ungrounded. And so many people who are ungrounded, they have these lofty ideas, or they have these ideologies, or they fall for certain belief systems because they're all up here. They're not really grounded and rooted in what their truth is within themselves. So a practice, if you are feeling ungrounded, or if you believe yourself to be ungrounded, is to simply go out and ground. It's that simple. Go out, touch grass, get in the soil, your bare feet on the land, on the earth, and just let yourself become one with the earth. Let yourself calm. Let yourself relax. Let yourself be at ease within yourself, and just allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be without trying to be anything up here. Just simply embody the state of meditation like I was talking about earlier. So go out and ground, focus on all your chakras, not just the upper half. Focus on all your chakras, balance all of them, open up all of them, activate all of them in a way that is healthy for you. So I can keep going. There's a lot more to talk about with this topic. So I'll end this by saying, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, because I know that I'm expressing my truth. I'm talking a lot about this topic, but honestly, I operate even better when people ask me questions, because that really is one of my main love languages, because it allows me to reassess and analyze myself in ways that I may not have even considered before, or brings up certain things that I know that I can talk about and hit on for people that are going through whatever it is that they're going through. So it just allows me to serve even better. It allows me to tap into myself even more, which allows me to show up even better for you. So feel free to ask any questions. And final announcements, I just recently launched my ebook, the Inner Mastery Workbook, which is basically a 30-day series where each day is like a portal. It's like a container for you to dive deep into yourself. Each day has a specific question linked to it, and I guide you through the practices, through the mindsets, the mentalities, and everything that helped me grow through what I went through. So to become the person that I am today, I basically put as much as I can into this workbook, into this ebook, so that I can share what it is that I do, share how it is that I can help people with as many people as possible. So if that's something that's interesting to you, something that resonates with you, then the link will be down in the description. And also another thing is, I have my private mentorship group that I'm working on growing into an actual community. So we have a few people that they're getting like the real hands-on teaching experience right now, and I want to keep it like that. I don't want it to grow too big, but I do want this to grow so that I can focus on who wants to really learn from me. So basically, I'm opening up myself to have students, because I've been doing this for about 15 years now, focusing on inner mastery and self-mastery for about 15 years. It's time for me, I've been feeling that calling within me, my soul, my spirit, to actually share and teach what it is that I know. So that's why I'm posting more YouTube videos. And that's why I have my private mentorship group. Because in my private mentorship group, we go even deeper. We go even more, at a steady pace. I don't talk about everything. I talk about specific things that are right for the group. So if you want to learn directly from me, have access to me, be able to ask me questions anytime, and have, just have that access to me to where you can actually learn directly from me in a hands-on kind of way, then this is for you. The link will be down in the description, and you can join. And also, if you join the mentorship group, you will get my Inner Mastery Workbook for free. So that's even more reason to join. So without saying anything too much more, I'm gonna just say I send this out with love, wholeness, honor, and respect, and I pray for the best for all of you. Much love.